Hey guys, Boogie here, and I need to talk to you about a topic we've covered on the channel here before. But something happened over the weekend that means we need to talk about it again, and it's the topic of suicide. Before we get started, if you've stumbled across this video because you're struggling and you need help, I want you to go to google.com right now. I want you to type in suicide prevention hotline, and I want you to call the number that Google gives you. Those people will help you. They've helped me before and they've saved my life. I hope you let them save yours too. I don't feel right talking about that YouTuber because I didn't know them personally and I don't know their family and I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to be crass. So instead, I want to talk about my experiences with suicide because it's something that has affected me greatly. And I want to talk to you about why you need to hold on if you can. When I was a kid, I was born into a small coal mining area of the country, and people there were not that happy. And I certainly wasn't happy there. I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I belonged. I was born into a family that not only despised me, but abused me on a nearly daily basis. I grew up in what I believed at the time to be actual hell. And when I was 14, I was so sick of it, and I'd lost so much hope that I was ready to take my own life. And I looked up different ways at the library to come up with a way to do it. And the only way I could find was to asphyxiate myself. And fortunately for me, or unfortunately, I guess on some levels, I was so obese that I couldn't hang myself. And I could find no other real way to do it. I eventually did attempt to hang myself at one point, but I failed. I failed my suicide attempt, my first suicide attempt. And boy, am I glad I did. Because it was less than a year later that the very first really good thing ever happened to me. I went to a pre-collegiate program. I got outside of that small town. I got to see the world, and I got to be with people who never knew me as that fat, weird freak kid. And I got to get a glimpse of what my future could be like if I held on, if I tried, and I fought for it. And if you look at me right now, you'll see a man who still has a lot of struggles ahead of him. You'll see a man who still needs to beat his eating disorder. You'll see a man who still has to beat his mental disorders. You'll see a man who's still struggling. But my life is better. My life is infinitely better than I could have imagined on the day I tried to take my own life. And that's why I'm here to ask you tonight to hold on. Reach out to somebody who can help you. If you are suicidal, if you are having dark thoughts, if you've just simply given up hope, if you don't believe it's ever going to get better for you, I'm here to tell you that chances are you're wrong. You might be entirely right. You may be suffering from a mental disease you'll never beat. You may have a terminal disease that is never going to fix you. You may never achieve your dreams. That's true. But it still can get better. It could still be worth living. And even if you're right, even if you'll never be happy again, you can still make other people happy. You can volunteer at a shelter. You can be kind to the people around you. You can volunteer at a charity. You can dig wells in Africa. You have the opportunity to leave this place better than the reason you chose to leave it. So do me a favor. If you're struggling, if you're miserable, hold on. If someone you know is struggling and miserable, reach out a helping hand. Talk to that weird kid in your class. Talk to that kid that seems to be struggling, that nobody ever talks to. Maybe you are that kid. Talk to somebody who's nice to you. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to a parent. Reach out to a family member. Reach out to anybody who will listen. Call that suicide hotline tonight. But hold on. I promise you, there are good things left for you. 14-year-old me failed to kill himself, and boy, am I glad he did. While I have struggled throughout my life, and while I have a lot of struggles left ahead of me, I have lived some of my dreams. I have seen things that I never thought that I would see. I've experienced things that made me happy beyond expression. And I hope that you fight to find those things for yourself too.